Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into a really fascinating question at the heart of modern research. Can an AI do more than just crunch words? Can it actually understand the meaning behind our stories? We're breaking down an academic paper that puts this very idea to the test.
Okay, so for years and years, qualitative researchers have spent countless hours just manually digging through interviews and texts, right? They're looking for that deep human meaning. It's incredibly painstaking work. But what if an AI could do all that heavy lifting? The real question is, can a machine really get the subtle, complex nuances of our personal experiences?
To really get why AI might be such a big deal here, we first have to look at the tools researchers are using right now. And these tools often go by the acronym CAQDS.
Think of this kind of software as a hyper-efficient digital librarian. It's absolutely brilliant for taking huge amounts of text. We're talking hundreds of interview transcripts, and helping researchers tag, sort, and find specific keywords. It keeps everything neat and tidy. But, and this is a huge but, it's got some pretty major limitations.
So here's the real kicker. While these tools are fantastic for organization, they can't actually understand the story inside the data. They can tell you how many times a word pops up, sure, but they can't interpret what it means or grasp the essence of an interview. And that's the big analytical gap that researchers have been trying to solve for ages.
And this is where the paper we're looking at introduces a potential game changer, ChatGPT, and specifically the more advanced GPT-4 model.
Now remember that digital librarian we were just talking about? Well, ChatGPT is a totally different kind of beast. It's a large language model. It was built from the ground up to actually comprehend and generate language, a lot like a person does. Its whole purpose isn't just to organize words, but to understand what they actually mean in context.
And that right there is the million-dollar question. Can a chatbot really dig into all the subtleties of a personal story someone shares in an interview? That's exactly what this paper's experiment set out to test.
So the researchers designed a really clever case study. They took actual interview transcripts from two participants, they called them Ali and Beza, just to see if ChatGPT-4 could perform a real, genuine qualitative analysis on their stories.
The process itself was surprisingly simple. They didn't need any special software or coding skills or anything like that. They just copied the interview text, pasted it right into the chat, and gave the AI direct command. They gave the AI a pretty simple instruction, basically saying, hey, here's an interview. I want you to analyze this text for my research. And with that one prompt, the AI got to work. In just 10 to 20 seconds, it spit out a complete qualitative analysis. Pretty wild, right?
Okay, now take a look at what it produced here, because this is what's truly remarkable. The AI didn't just give them a random list of keywords. No, it created a structured analysis, organizing the participant's story into these high-level themes like social adaptation and personal development. And then it broke those down into more specific codes like building relations or gaining self-confidence. This is a level of interpretation, not just organization.
So those initial results looked amazing, but the researchers needed to know, was this analysis actually accurate? So they started to dig a little deeper into the AI's work to see if it held up. Now, this next step is absolutely critical in qualitative research. You can't just make a claim, you've got to show your work. So the researchers challenged the AI to justify the codes it came up with, and it did by pulling specific word-for-word sentences directly from the interview.
For example, for that theme of social adaptation, the AI pointed to this exact quote, "After I got to know my friends, I started to feel much better." I mean, this just brilliantly shows its power. It didn't just identify a concept, it pinpointed the precise evidence for it. And that is something the traditional CAQDAS tools just can't do.
All right, so for the next test, they upped the difficulty a bit. After analyzing the second participant's interview, the researchers asked ChatGPT to compare the experiences of both Ali and Beza to find similarities and differences in their stories.
And again, it nailed it. As you can see in this table, it correctly spotted the shared themes, like how both of them relied on friends to get by. But it also astutely pointed out some key differences. For instance, it noted that Ali had trouble with online learning, while Beza was more motivated by in-person classes. That shows a real ability to synthesize and compare information across different sources.
So at this point, it sounds like the perfect research assistant, doesn't it? It's fast, it's insightful, it's easy to use. Well, not so fast. The study also uncovered some very serious and, frankly, pretty alarming errors.
So let's look at where it went wrong.
This is the part of the study that really serves as a crucial reality check, and it's where the need for a human in the loop becomes crystal clear.
Now, we're not talking about small mistakes here. The AI would sometimes get confused about who was speaking, mixing up the researchers' words with the participants. Even more worrying, it would hallucinate, which is the AI term for just making stuff up. It literally invented quotes that were not in the original text. On top of that, it was inconsistent, giving slightly different results when analyzing the exact same text a second time. The researchers started to notice a clear pattern. After about 12 back-and-forth commands on the same interview, the AI's short-term memory just started to degrade. And that's when the big errors, like those fake quotes, began to pop up. This really highlights a key weakness. Its reliability can break down during these long, complex conversations.
So, with these incredible strengths on one hand, and these really startling weaknesses on the other, what does this all mean for the future of qualitative research?
Well, the paper's conclusion is really clear and measured. ChatGPT is not an automated researcher. Not yet, anyway. Its flaws, especially that tendency to hallucinate, are just way too serious for it to be used without supervision. The key is to see it as a powerful new type of assistant, one that needs constant, careful human verification.
So the big takeaway here is this. The smart way to use this technology is to take advantage of its incredible speed for that initial brainstorming and theme finding, but the human researcher has to stay firmly in the driver's seat, meticulously checking every single thing it spits out.
Ultimately, this study really points to a fundamental shift in the researcher's job. The role might be evolving away from all that tedious, manual data sifting and towards something more focused on asking strategic questions, doing critical verification, and of course, the deep, final interpretation of it all. It really leaves us with a thought-provoking question about the future of this partnership between human intellect and artificial intelligence.